Let me ask you a question. Do you want to get better? In John chapter 5, Jesus encounters a man who was lame, and he asks him this question: do you want to get better? Now, this man was at the pool of Bethesda, which was a pool that people went to be healed. And this man had been there for decades, and yet Jesus still asks him this question: do you want to get better? And the man answers with an excuse that he has no one to help him into the water when it bubbles up. And despite his excuse, Jesus heals the man, tells him to take his mat and go home. And so let me ask you again, do you want to get better? And so whether life is going really well right now or you're in a difficult season, Jesus invites us all into a better way of living. And so we want to take the next 6 weeks to just look at 6 invitations from the life of Jesus to live a better life, to live a life according to his way. And I'll be honest with you, this is not just another study. We want to invite you into practice. Jesus' ministry was not theoretical. He didn't call his disciples and just fill them with a bunch of head knowledge. He sent them out to be disciples. He sent them out to practice what he had taught them. And here's the problem that we often encounter with our spiritual formation, is that we prefer insight to change. And I'm so very guilty of this. I really appreciate a good sermon or a really good book, and I think, oh, that's good, that's insightful. I receive the insight, but often that's it. You know why? Because change is hard. Change requires practice. I don't know if you know someone who's run a marathon, but from what I've heard about marathon training, it's a very slow process where you only run a few times a week, and then once a week you have what's called your long run. And you start out with 1 mile, and then you add 2 miles, and then you add 3 miles. And over the course of 6 months or a year, however long it takes, you go from someone who can't run a marathon to someone who it's still difficult, but has the ability to run a marathon. Change is hard, and change is often slow. John Mark Comer says, we cannot think our way into Christ's likeness. And so for us to get better, we need to accept the invitation into practice. There's an old business quote that says, your system is perfectly designed to get the results you are currently getting. And so if we want different results, we want change, we want to live a better life, we're going to have to try something different. And so let me introduce you into the model of discipleship that we've modeled this study after, this experience after. It's from a guy named Dallas Willard. We want to be with Jesus, we want to become like Jesus, and we want to do what Jesus did. First of all, we want to be with Jesus, and every day there are prompts in your Get Better booklet to invite you to spend time with Jesus, to invite you to be with Jesus. And I hope you will take advantage of this every single day and that you'll spend some time with Jesus. For some, the most powerful part of this experience will simply be learning to spend regular time with Jesus. And as we spend time with Jesus, as we spend time with our group, as we spend time hearing these teachings, we'll slowly start to become like Jesus. And what's cool about this part of the process is this is where God enters the process. This is not something that we can do alone, but as we spend time with Jesus, we hope to slowly become more and more like him. And as we become like him, we will do what he does. And so every week you're going to be invited into a practice. And we've given you a wide range of options. Some of these practices are very, very simple, entry level, and some of them are fairly challenging. And so I hope every week you'll choose the practice that feels attainable. But at the same time, I hope you will choose a practice that stretches you a little bit, a practice that gets you outside of your comfort zone, because we know that we grow the most when we leave our comfort zone. And so, friends, I am really excited for us all to begin this journey together. So I hope you'll show up each and every week, that you'll be there for your group. Your group needs you. You bring something to the table. I hope that you'll be willing to rearrange your schedule to make all the meetings you can possibly make, to aim to make all of them. And then if you need to miss one because something happens, that's fine. I hope that you'll spend regular time with Jesus, that you'll really lean into that being with Jesus over this process, and that you'll lean into these practices. I heard this great quote from a friend recently. It's from a guy named Scott McKnight. People grow when they are on a quest or when they are in a crisis. And so, friends, let's go on a quest together. Let's discover a new way of living. It won't necessarily be easy, but if it means becoming more like Jesus, then I'm all in. So let me ask you this question one more time. Do you want to get better?